Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Game Changers Devotion. We're glad to have you on the call with us this morning. And as we say every week, we don't think anybody shows up on this call by accident. And so if this is your first time here, we're glad to have you here and think that you're here for a reason. And if you're on the call every week with us, we know there's a reason that God's got you here all the time with us. I'd really like to encourage you to invite others to join us on the call, and you can do that by just sharing that call-in number with your friends or your coworkers or whoever you'd like to. And as we get started, I want to ask, if you will, go ahead and mute your phones. That just helps us minimize the background noise so we can all stay focused. And also, don't forget you can catch all of our past devotionals that were recorded on Spotify and on YouTube. And you can search for Game Changers Devotional on either one of those sites, and you should be able to find it fairly easily. So let's go ahead and jump into today's devotional. It's going to be led by Brock Nix.
Good morning. Good morning. Hope everybody's having a great day. I know where I live, I've really been enjoying the cooler weather and blue skies. It's been nice. I always look forward to this time of year. Today, what I want to talk about is, our families and, what are we doing with our family? Are we leading our families well? Depends on, everybody on this call is in different situations. You might be a dad, a mom. You may not be married at all. You may have children. You may not have children. There's still ways that you'd want to lead your family. And if you don't have a family yet, this be something you can learn for when you do. But some of this stuff, what I did, I've kind of made a list of some items that I think that are important. And a lot of these kind of step on my own toes. And so I just kind of went through a list of things and of what I feel that we should be doing with our families. And first I wrote down was time. Are you intentional with your time with your family? Are you finding yourself being selfish and wanting to do things, you want to do and not what you probably need to be doing? I know like this day and time, it's easy for everybody wants a little time to themselves, but it's easy to slip off and maybe, everybody's got a phone now. You can go off and kind of goof off for a little bit. And I think a little bit of goofing off's okay, but are you doing that too much? Are you not setting your phone down or whatever it could be in your life and it's something trumping your family? And there's the verse I was thinking about was Ecclesiastes 3, 1 through 8. And it talks about time. There's a time for everything, a season for every activity under the heavens, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to uproot, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to tear down, a time to build, a time to weep, a time to laugh, a time to mourn, a time to dance, a time to scatter stones, and a time to gather them, a time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to search, and a time to give up, a time to keep, and a time to throw away, a time to tear, and a time to mend, a time to be silent, and a time to speak, a time to love, and a time to hate, a time for war, and a time for peace. So ultimately, there's times for everything. And AKA, there's times that you do need to do things by yourself. But there's a lot of times we do doing things with our family and doing things to help our family. And here's something else that I thought of: attention. Are we giving our family attention? The attention they deserve, AKA time. Another thing, love. A lot of times, we love our family. Are they seeing that in our actions? Are we telling them that? But but most important, are they seeing that? Do they know that they're a joy to be around? Prayer. Are we spending time praying for our family? Not just by ourselves, but if you're married, are you praying for your spouse? If you have children, are you praying for your children? Not just to yourself, but over them where they're hearing you pray for them. You know, Psalm 17:6 says, I call on you, my God, for you will answer me. Turn your ear to me and hear my prayer. And we know our Father hears our prayers. So it's very powerful to pray over your family. Another thing is affirmation. Are you telling your family, your spouse, your children, and affirming them and letting them know what you see in them and lifting them up? If you have children, you'll know this. There's a lot of correction time depending on the age of your child. So sometimes I feel like, my goodness, all I've done is like have to get on my children. And there's a season for that, but I think while you're doing that, I also, now I'm definitely not perfect at this, but try to like, am I coming back and like affirming them and you know, and talking, telling them some good things, because there's times, I mean, you feel like it's a constant getting on to them to correct them, and we're supposed to do that, but I think we also need to make sure we're affirming just as much. Another thing I wrote down, are we listening? You know, are we truly listening, not just thinking about what we're going to say next? For me, this means like, don't interrupt and try not to fix something. Just like, am I listening to the complete deal? Because my brain instantly goes to fix it, do this, that we need to do this. And a lot of times I'm jumping in on things and I haven't even heard the complete sentence. So listen, you know, are we listening? You know, James 1:19 says, my dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. We've all probably heard that verse a million times, but I know I do not practice that like I should. And if you are a husband, very important, are you like telling your wife, are you looking her in the eyes and telling her how much you love her, how amazing she is, and really lifting her up? God made men and women different. Women really want to feel love. So as a man, you need to make sure you're doing that. You know, Ephesians 5:25 says, husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Now the other shoe, if you're a lady and your husband, you should be lifting up your husband. As if you don't know this, it's proven when men won't respect more than love. Ladies won't love more than respect. I've watched this couple. They go around and they do marriage conferences, and they always talk about the love and respect. And if one of them ever gets off, that's when you enter this what they call the crazy cycle, where if you're not giving a woman love, she's not wanting to respect the man, and then you're on the spiral until somebody says, hey. You know, squashes it. So, you know, so women just respect your husbands and show them that and lift them up, because men are not, usually that's the most vulnerable they're ever going to be is in front of their wives. And the last thing I was thinking about was children. You know, just like I talked about earlier, look at your kids in the eye every day and affirm them. Tell them things you think they already know. Like, I love you. I'm proud of you. I'm glad the Lord chose me to be your father or your mother, whichever. And just really let them know that. Like I said, I know my kids know it, but it sure is good for them to hear it. And, you know, Proverbs 22:6 says, start a child off in the way they should go, and when they're old, they will not depart from it. You want to instill these things in your children at a young age, and then as they get older, because one day, as hard as it is to believe, they're going to grow up. They're going to have their own families. And hopefully they pick up, I'm speaking for myself, I hope they pick up a lot of things that I did well. Obviously, they're going to pick up things that they don't want to do. But I'm hoping the good way outweighs the things they don't want to implement in their families. But that's just some things I was thinking about, just as in how we should live our lives as believers, and just that we should be a light to our family. when things aren't going good, maybe you name it, we need to be a light. We need to bring it. There's times I have to crank up the dial. I can feel myself as things are going on at the house. Somebody's in a bad mood or whatever. Sometimes I can feel myself getting sucked into that. Well, that's on me. I need to be the light. I need to point my family to Christ and not on some issue. So if you always put Christ in it, if you feel something going on, say a quick prayer, whatever you have to do, but lead your family well, be a light, and show them the way believers raise a family. Lord, I thank you for every person on this call. Thank you they spent the time to get on it, and they just have a great day, and you just watch over them, watch over their families. Help us all to grow in showing our families how to live a life like Jesus. Help us be the best example of Jesus we can. Help us uplift our family and show love to them and always point them to Jesus. We love you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Brock, thanks for that word this morning, and I think that talking about being the light in your family, I think that's what our challenge should be this week, to evaluate, are we being that light in our family? And I'm sure that we all have ways that we can improve in being that light. So thank you for that devotional this morning, Brock. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today on Game Changers Devotional, and I hope that something that was shared this morning spoke to your heart and challenged you and reminded you of just how faithful our God truly is. If the devotional encouraged you, don't keep it yourself. Share it with someone and invite them to jump in with our midweek boost that we have each week. And we'll see y'all next week, same time, same place. And God bless everybody.